Hi there, I'm Eleanor Graves. I'm an interior designer and owner of Clean Air Homes in Baltimore, Maryland. The thing I love about interior design the most is when I get to sit down with a client and talk with them about the vision. We talk about what it is they want to see in the space, or what they want to feel when they walk in the door. What it is that will give them that aha feeling or a deep internal yes that makes them feel like they're right where they should be. There are so many decisions and complications that go into a successful home remodel. So much to manage, from the bidding process to all the contractors, and then of course the schedules. But we always start with and return to the vision. And to get to the vision, we need inspiration. Inspiration is what clicks for you. It's what you're drawn to. But there's a leap. There's the part where you understand that you like something, and then understanding why you like it, what it is that's making it successful. And that's what I want to talk with you a little bit about today, is to describe some of the optics that are in play in some of these successful interiors. So I put one up on the board behind me. This is an inspirational image from one of my files, and I'm just going to walk you through a few of the things that I see that are contributing to the success of the interior, and just share with you a little bit about why it works. Okay, so this is an ad from a magazine for furniture by B+B Italia. The designer of the sofa, the sectional sofa, and the two adjoining ottomans in the front is Patricia Urquiola, and the designer of that wonderful bulbous armchair on the left is Gaetano Pesce. So the first thing I notice when I look at this image is that it is a modern interior. It has very clean lines. There is a very strong presence of that right angle also that you get when you look at this horizontal line of the ceiling and how it meets the vertical wall. In fact, as I try to scooch this whole thing forward, you can see the imprint in the concrete structure. The lines are embedded into the concrete, so that is also playing up that angle, that strong right angle. And so it's interesting to me that I see that again in the furniture, especially in the ottomans here with this kind of flattened tufting. In the sectional sofa itself, of course, is a right angle, but that also has a similar flattened kind of tufting, and they're either rectangles or squares, but the strength of the right angle is definitely present. Then the armchair with its roundedness adds a kind of softness, a good sort of shape variation, a little contrast in shape, and then that is also seen in the drapery behind it. So a little bit of softness in there to balance out all those hard lines. The patterns, I've pretty much described all the patterns you see in this space. So the lines in the concrete, the tufting in the sofa, that covers it. Otherwise, it's pretty smooth on smooth. So you see that a lot in modern interiors. Things are played down. There's some minimal quality, trying to keep the elements simple. And I think that the way the furniture is arranged is also very simple. There's the spaciousness around it. There's not a lot of stuff going into this interior. They created one area instead of multiple areas. They created one area around a set of coffee tables, and then they put ample space between the pieces of furniture. So the size of the furniture is also part of the design of this interior. The next thing I want to talk about is the color scheme, and this is interesting to me because it's a very muted color scheme, but it is a complementary color scheme. Complementary colors tend to have a very strong color relationship. Complementary colors are two colors who are on opposite sides of the color wheel. So this is kind of formal color theory speak that I'm using here, but that is basically what's going on, is the designer chose a complementary color scheme. So the colors in play are, of course, this yellow-green color that you see most strongly in the ottoman, and then all this gray you see around you is in the purple family. It's not a strong purple like you would see on a sports jersey. We would say that when you see a very bright purple like that, it is a very saturated hue. It is very intense. And what we see here is a very desaturated hue. It has been grayed out. It has been muted. So I see that desaturated purple color on all the surfaces of the structure, so the ceiling and the wall. I also see it in the sectional sofa, and also in the darker shade of the armchair. I think that's still in the same color family. That appears over here on the right side of the image, again, much more in shadow, but this piece is also contributing. It's the things you don't always notice are still contributing. And then the yellow-green I see, of course, in that ottoman, very spectacularly so. I also see it in the rug. And then I see it in this really beautiful piece that's on this tabletop in the back, this piece of glass sculpture that has a kind of geometric quality. That's got some nice little pops of yellow-green as well. And then, of course, we see a lot of green and yellow-green in the view. And I'm wondering if, in fact, that's where the designer got their inspiration for this particular color scheme. They thought, well, the big gesture in the room is the view, and the view contains all this green, all this yellow-green. So what colors do we want to use to incorporate the view and use that to help make a harmonious interior? So then the last thing I want to point out is that there is a pretty well choreographed lighting scheme going on that we cannot see because it's behind the scenes. But normally you take a picture of a window, that your image is full of shadows. So their lighting scheme has enabled us to see the color of the ottomans, the different shades and textures on the walls and all the different surfaces, and that they have subtle variations in textures and shades. So just to know that that is part of the optics at play is a kind of lighting scheme that we can't really know. All right, that's a little bit about working with an inspirational image and the optics that are at work and what we see when we look at this image. Let me know if you have any more thoughts or questions in the comments. We can talk further about the process there. Meanwhile, you can also find me online at cleanairhomes.com. I'm Eleanor Graves. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.